Well, hello. Welcome into another edition of the Great Eight Rankings. Nolan Knight here alongside sports reporter Madeline Frentress. Week 2 of the high school football season is in the books, and we saw some shakeup from our ranked teams. A couple of teams lost, a couple of teams won, and I think what a lot of people were focused in on last week was obviously our game of the week, which you were at, between a ranked Manchester team on the road taking on a ranked Glen Allen team, and you were on the sidelines for that one. How was it?
Yeah, can I just say, I mean, that was a great atmosphere to be in, and it's been great throughout 3 weeks so far, but I was honestly super, concerned that it was going to go to overtime. It was 22 with, I think, a minute left, and then Manchester was driving down the field. I was like, are they going to get it in for the touchdown? Like, what's going to happen? And they kicked the field goal, making it 25-22, and it was just, I mean, it was a huge upset. I mean, it was on the fence for a long time. I mean, Glen Allen was, I think, the better team in the first half.
Okay.
They were leading at the half, and then Manchester just came back in the third quarter, scored 2 touchdowns, and then shut Glen Allen out for the rest of the half. So it was some good football to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'll give us some credit. We were early on the Manchester train. We had them ranked week 1. Quarterback's been there for a while, been starting for a while. They have, Jason Harrell's been there now for a couple of years. This is his second full season at the helm, and it kind of feels like they figured some things out. Second year with Malik Sexton, a head coach at Glen Allen. They had such a great year last year. They look like they're going to be a really competitive team as well. And let's check out your full game recap from this past Friday night.
Legs. We've been saying all week that our game of the week between these 1-0 Manchester Lancers and 1-0 Glen Allen Jaguars was going to be a sort of clash of the Titans and a playoff caliber game. And tonight, that is exactly what we got. Glen Allen started off hot on their home turf. On the first drive of the game, Jaguars quarterback Ralphie Puccinelli has an opportunity to use his legs, and he punches one in for a touchdown. The extra point is good, and the Jags have an early 7-0 lead. Manchester's driving again, and they're putting in the work in the air and on the ground, eventually punching one in for their own score. Then a successful 2-point attempt, giving them the 8-7 lead, and they're fired up. On the very next drive, it's Jaguars ball. Puccinelli fakes the handoff and makes the decision to throw it deep, and it comes down right in the hands of Fisher. How he got a foot down in there, I don't know, but a good 2-point conversion put the Jags up 15-8 at the half. The Lancers went on to score 2 touchdowns in the third, making it 22-15 entering the fourth. Then it's Ralphie Puccinelli again who punches it in for Glen Allen, tying the game at 22. Then the fourth quarter is scoreless until the very last play of the game. 4 seconds left. Manchester makes the kick to win the game 25-22. We're here with winning head coach of our 8Sports Blitz game of the week, Jason Harrell of the Manchester Lancers. What did it take for you guys to win tonight?
It took us to dig deep. It took perseverance. It took grinding. It took us to get up that mountain. It was in a steep hill, and they said that's a very good football team that we just beat there.
You guys came back in the third quarter, scored 2 touchdowns. What did you say to the team in the half to make them come back like that?
I just had to make sure they believe. Just because we're down, make sure the kids were able to play. And this is simple talking to. Look, this is what's going on. This is what's going to take, and this is what I need y'all to do. That
concludes our 8Sports Blitz Week 2 Game of the Week. The Manchester Lancers have taken down the Glen Allen Jaguars. Reporting here from Glen Allen High School, I'm Madeline Frentress.
There you go. Great report, Madeline. What a game. I mean, I think we definitely picked the right game, or our viewers picked the right game for our game of the week, lived up to the hype. And you were just talking to me during that video playing that, you thought they were going to just get down into the end zone right away, the way they were moving the ball, and they had to rely on the kicker, and he got it done.
Yeah, that last Manchester drive, I really thought they were going to get in the end zone. It was no frills. They were running the ball. They have a running back over there, number 20. He's really solid. Yep. He made some big plays for them. And it was just fundamental football. You're just running it down the field to get in field goal range. And they did exactly what they needed to do there.
All right, so let's see how that affected this week's 8Sports Blitz Elite 8 Week 3. Oh, I got to change that. It's not the Elite 8. It's the Great 8 rankings. Number 1, you see some shakeup at the top there. Benedictine moves up to our number 1 position after they go on the road to take down a Matoaka team that we thought was going to be really good this year, 38-0. Not a great start for the Warriors, but it's been a great start for Benedictine. They start the year 2-0. They move up 1 spot because of their good play, but maybe more so because of the fact that Verina did lose. Now, granted, listen, They lost to probably the best team in the 757 in Maury because of a missed field goal. 14-13 is why they lose. Maury was able to take a lead with an extra point of their own that was actually pushed back 15 yards because of a excessive celebration penalty after the touchdown.
Oh, wow.
Anytime you're losing because of, a missed field goal, you can't, get that upset about it. Verina looked really good against one of the nation's best in Maury. They went, toe to toe. Hate that I had to move them down, but if you lose a game and someone else wins a game, you got to give Benedictine some love by getting the win on the road at Matoaka. And what was, I think, the first matchup between Matoaka and Benedictine since the 70s.
Oh, wow.
So anytime you're going on the road to an unfamiliar foe against a team that was in the playoffs last year and you get a win, I'm going to reward you with the number 1 ranking. That's not to say that if Verina gets a big win later down the road, they get moved back up, or someone else does for that matter. Who knows? But also moving up to number 3, Dinwiddie. They moved to 2-0. Granted, they haven't really been tested. They got a big win over Colonial Heights week 1. This week went on the road to Norfolk, take down Granby with ease, 55-6. Granby's not been great this year. The Generals looked like the Generals, and they move up with the win. And the reason they move up is because, again, another team lost. Highland Springs falls to Hogue, 17-13. Last week they were our number 3 team, but they do fall down a spot because of that loss. And now let's put an asterisk next to that loss, just like we did with Verina. Hogue is currently ranked 3rd according to Max Preps in all of North Carolina. They're probably one of the best teams in the country as well. So you can't get that upset with the fact they went wire to wire with them at home. But because they do lose a spot, dropping down to number 4. Manchester moves up following that win versus Glen Allen. Glen Allen, they were ranked 5th last week in our rankings, and so they've moved up a spot. Taking that spot from Glen Allen as they go on the road, and what I think was an upset. I think a lot of people think that game was an upset. We just talked a lot about it. 25-22, they get it, the win over the Jaguars.
Very evenly matched teams there.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of evenly matched games we saw within this top 5.
Yeah.
Right? Trinity, they move up to 6 due to the fact that Glen Allen drops out of the rankings. They defeated Fuma without any issue, 48-0. Fork Union, not really the Fork Union that I think a lot of people around this area think of. They've kind of lost some of their historical greatness. I don't know how else to put it, but Trinity gets the win with no problem at Fuma. St. Christopher moves up a spot as they go on the road to Episcopal. They get a big win, 30-19, and a new debut for us coming in at number 8. First time they've been ranked this year. The Hermitage Panthers, another lopsided win for the Panthers. They moved to 2-0. They destroyed Matoaka week 1, destroyed Henrico this week, 62-13. A lot of talent. They have a couple of Power 5 guys, or I guess Power 4 guys now on that roster, and they make their debut at number 8 in our Grade 8 rankings. A couple of honorable mentions for you. Glen Allen does continue to receive votes despite the fact that they were knocked out of our rankings this week. Huguenot's still there. They, of course, were off this past week with a bye week. They will resume play on Thursday against Clover Hill, expecting them to win that one with ease. Louisa County still ranked for us. Midlothian, they're 2-0 now after the takedown Douglas Freeman this past week, and Thomas Dale's 2-0 as well as they took control of the battle for Chester this past week. So a lot of moving. We got some moving on our rankings here. Congratulations to those teams that made it. Hermitage for making it inside of the top 8. And with that brings our next game of the week. That's going to be a battle between our number 3 team in the Dinwiddie Generals and our number 4 team in the Highland Springs Springers. You went out to both schools today to speak with the coaches. What's kind of the mindset as they look forward to the game of the week?
Well, the thing that stuck out to me most was both of these coaches. Coach Mills told me that these coaches they've been coaching against each other for over 25 years. I think he mentioned the first time they coached against each other was 2000. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing the math. That's a long time. And they both have a whole lot of respect for each other. I think that, Coach Mills coming off these 2 really lopsided wins, he's confident in his guys. He told me he's betting on his guys that they just need to stick to what they know and block out the noise. He kind of told me that he thinks there's a lot of noise surrounding this game. Obviously, they're coming in to Highland Springs. They'll have a good home field advantage there. And he just says, his guys are going to need to block out the noise, and he's confident they can get it done. On the other side, Lauren Johnson, Highland Springs head coach. He's confident as well. Last week, like you said, they did take that loss to Hogue, the North Carolina team, and he schedules those kind of games, he told me, because he wants his team to be tested for teams like Dinwiddie and the other playoff caliber teams in Virginia. And so he did that for a reason. They did lose, but he is confident as well that his team can come back and take care of business this week too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think both teams wanted to schedule tough opponents, right? And Dinwiddie, they haven't been tested this year. They took on a Colonial Heights team who, granted, had a pretty good season last year, but were able to take care of them pretty easily. Henrico's kind of going to have a down year this year, it looks like. And they took care of them with ease. So it'll be interesting to see what the Generals can do when they get in a matchup against an evenly matched opponent and maybe get into a game where you have to play in the fourth quarter, right? They haven't experienced that yet, whereas Highland Springs coming off of a big game where they had to go wire to wire. So I'm excited to see what goes on this Friday night. Of course, we'll be out there 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You'll be out there with some interviews and some live reports, and then of course your game of the week package on the Blitz, which is back, of course, this Friday night. And then, of course, tomorrow you'll catch the full preview on our 6 o'clock news as we dive into the matchup between the number 4 and number 3 ranked team. We can't wait for that. Be sure to tune into the Blitz this upcoming Friday night, 11:15. We run it back for week 3, have some really good games lined up, and I know we're all excited about it. Any last thoughts going into week 3 of the season?
Excited for week 3. I think our game of the weeks so far been pretty good.
You're right about that.
They've gone toe to toe so far. So
our viewers know what they're doing when they're picking these games.
I agree.
So here we go. We'll finish you guys off with the this week's top lights, edited by our editor Jordan Vance. Enjoy.